Good morning, children. Today we will start what we have left yesterday. And we were talking about the C4 plants in which I gave you example of sugarcane, maize, sorghum, euphorbia. These examples of plants I gave you that they show the process of C4 cycle. And what is the C4 cycle? This is a adaptation developed by plant to escape photorespiration. Photorespiration is considered to be a wasteful process, and why this is considered to be a wasteful process, I told you that there is no high energy compound formation in the process of photorespiration. This is the first reason, and the second reason is that CO2 is released. CO2 is released. So because of these two causes, photorespiration is considered to be a wasteful process. Now, I told you yesterday and day before yesterday also that there are some conditions under which the plants start the process of photorespiration or they show photorespiration, and those two conditions are, anybody remembers, anybody can answer what are those two conditions under which the plants show photorespiration process? Anybody remembers? Yes, I want answers. Anybody who remembers that the conditions under which the plants show the process of photorespiration? Yes, I want your answers, children. Yes, yes, yes. High temperature and high O2 concentration. Tadar Ani is answering, and the answer is very correct. When the concentration of oxygen is high and the temperature is high, then photorespiration takes place. That means if the plants want to escape or want to protect themselves from photorespiration, they will have to take care of these two conditions, that oxygen concentration should not be high, at the same time the temperature should be low. So how they can escape these two conditions, this we are talking about now. So yesterday I told you that the C4 plants, they have developed certain adaptations to protect, to avoid this process of photorespirations. So the adaptations which are seen in adaptations seen in C4 plants to prevent photorespiration. I'm just writing RESP, to prevent photorespiration. So what are those adaptations? I told you that number one is these plants, they have dimorphic chloroplast, presence of dimorphic chloroplast, which I told you yesterday. Dimorphic chloroplast means two types of chloroplasts are present. And what are those two types of chloroplasts which are present? The first type is granule. The second type is agranule. The granule type of chloroplast is present in mesophyll cells. So what structures, yesterday I told you how do a granule looks like. Granule looks like this, double layered. So it will have granas which are located above one another. So these are granas which are located above one another, connected by stroma lamellae. Then we have agranule where grana are absent. So we will have just stroma lamellae, no granas. This is one stroma lamellae. This is another stroma lamellae. This is another stroma lamellae. That means we have just stroma lamellae and no granas are present. So these are agranule, or where the granas are absent. These are present in mesophyll cells. and granules are present in mesophyll cells and A granules are present in bundle sheath cells. Now, what are these bundle sheath cells? Okay. Now, in class 10th, you have done the diagram of the leaf in which you learned that there is one epidermis which has a cuticle, and then below cuticle we have upper epidermis. This is upper epidermis. Mesophyll layer, it is divided into two. Further two, you know it. One is a compact parenchyma. Compact and spongy. How do the compact and spongy look like? So this is compact. It will, where the cells are closely attached to one another. And how does the spongy looks like? We will draw first the lower epidermis also. This is lower epidermis. We have stomata is present here in the lower epidermis, and we have these cells which are present. And then we have spongy parenchyma. Why this is known as spongy parenchyma? Because air cavities are present. So spongy parenchyma. This whole is the mesophyll layer, which is divided into till here compact parenchyma, and from here to here spongy parenchyma, and the whole is mesophyll layer, and the cells are mesophyll cells. Now in between we have, in the center we have the vascular bundle, and the vascular bundle looks like this. The outer layer of vascular bundle is formed of thick-walled barrel-shaped cells. Thick-walled barrel-shaped cells here. These thick-walled barrel-shaped cell which encloses the vascular bundle, these are bundle sheath cells. And these all are mesophyll cells. Till here, is it clear, beta? Is it clear till here? Yes? Any problem till here? Is it clear to you all? I'm not getting response. Till here, is it clear to you all? Yes? Yes. Okay. Yes. Fine. I've got the response. So it is clear till here. Now, I told you that these are mesophyll cells have granule chloroplast. So in the mesophyll cells, which chloroplast do we have? Granule. G-R-A-N-A-L. We have granule chloroplast here, and we have a granule chloroplast here, where grana is absent. Now, beta, this is my question to you, that in grana, which cycle takes place? In grana, which process takes place? Yes. This is a question to you. In grana, which process takes place? Come on. In grana, which process takes place? Yes, beta, I'm not getting your answer. In grana, which process takes place? Grana is made up of Grana is made up of what are kept one over another. Yes. What are kept one over another in grana? Yes. Thylakoid. Yes, thylakoid. So in thylakoid, which cycle, what takes place? Anybody remembers what takes place in thylakoid? Yes. What takes place in thylakoid? Which process takes place in thylakoid? We did it in thylakoid or in grana. Photolysis, light reaction. That's very correct. In it, the light reaction takes place. That means in grana, the light reaction is taking place. So what is the specific name of that light reaction in which oxygen is produced? Yes. What is the specific name of that light reaction in which oxygen is produced? Yes, bache? We did two types of photophosphorylation. Out of them, in one, the photolysis of water takes place, releasing oxygen. Can you name which one is that? Can you name which one is that? Yes? Yes, bache, which one is that? In which photolysis of water takes place and oxygen is released. Which particular process of light reaction? Non-cyclic. Yes, Amrita is answering non-cyclic, and that's very true. In non-cyclic photophosphorylation, which is a part of light reaction, oxygen is released by photolysis of water. This is what we have learned. Another name for non-cyclic photophosphorylation, anybody can name? Another name for non-cyclic photophosphorylation? Yes? Yes, bache? Z scheme. Again, Amrita is answering Z scheme, and that is true. So, beta, as I have written here, in the mesophyll cell, what is present? The granule chloroplast is present. I have written here. Mesophyll cell, granule chloroplast. So when granule chloroplast is present in mesophyll cell, so non-cyclic will take place here. Non-cyclic photophosphorylation will take place here, and oxygen will be, as a result, oxygen will be released here. Oxygen will be released here. Okay, that means oxygen will not come down. That means high oxygen concentration will not be near bundle sheath cell where C4 cycle has to, where C3 cycle has to take place. That means here nothing like that will happen. That means oxygen concentration is maintained. The oxygen will not come to the interior of the leaf. Oxygen will be produced here, and from here itself liberated out. So oxygen concentration is taken care of. That means oxygen concentration is maintained. It is taken care of that oxygen concentration should not increase. The second thing. Okay, is my voice cracking for all of you? My voice is clear to all of you? Is it clear? My voice is clear? Okay, okay, fine. Ananya, because you are at Dalhousie, so the weather problem, just check your connectivity problem, bache. Okay, so beta, there what happens, the oxygen is formed in the mesophyll cell and it doesn't go deeper, it doesn't come deeper into the leaf. Now what happens? Second thing, now see, one condition we have taken care of, that is high oxygen concentration which is required for photosynthesis. It will not be there. It will not be there because the non-cyclic photophosphorylation which releases oxygen is taking place on the in the mesophyll cells which are located at the upper epidermis. Fine. Now the second condition that is that the temperature has to be, high temperature has to be taken care of. Now how can we decrease the high temperature? Now here, the bundle sheath cells which are A granule, the bundle sheath cells which are A granule, which have A granule chloroplast, and in this A granule chloroplast, that means we have only stroma. We have only stroma. See, only stroma is there in A granule. No grana is present. That is why these are known as A granule, because only stroma is present. And in stroma lamella, which cycle takes place, bache? In stroma lamella, which cycle takes place? We have just done that cycle. Which particular cycle takes place in stroma lamella? Till now, we have done just one cycle of dark reaction, and that cycle is dark C3 cycle. So obviously in bundle sheath cells, C3 cycle will take place. C3 cycle, because C3 cycle takes place in stroma. C3 cycle takes place in stroma, and these are agranule chloroplasts. That means without grana. Only stroma is there. If you see, only stroma is there. So C3 cycle will take place in bundle sheath cell. Now what will happen? Now here, the temperature has to be maintained low. The temperature has to be maintained low for the dark reaction. How it is done? See, as you can see that the bundle sheath cells, they are located away from the upper epidermis. You can see this is upper epidermis, and these are bundle sheath cell where the dark reaction will take place. And the plant needs to avoid the temperature and high O2 concentration. High O2 concentration has been taken care of. Now what needs to be taken care of is high temperature. As you can see, this is located away from upper epidermis. The site for dark reaction is located away from the upper epidermis. This is upper epidermis. This is upper epidermis. This is upper epidermis, and the bundle sheath cells are away from the upper epidermis. Where does the sunlight falls? Sunlight falls here on the upper epidermis. Now, because there is a layer of cuticle, then there is a layer of epidermis, then there is a layer of compact parenchyma, mesophyll layer, then some air cavities are there. The amount of temperature which reaches here, the heat which reaches the bundle sheath cell is very low. Because the bundle sheath cells are deeply seated, I'm using the word they are deeply seated. Because the bundle sheath cells are deeply seated, they are placed deep into the cell. What happens that the temperature is low. Low temperature. The temperature is low. As you yourself know that if you are living in a building where there is no upper floor, in the plains during summers, that home is very hot. But if you have one more, one more story about that, you feel cold, because that your room, which is on the ground floor, that is now deeply seated. So the amount of heat received from the sun is less. It doesn't reach directly to your roof, and you feel better in that room. It's not that hot as compared to the roof, which is getting direct sunlight. So same thing is happening here. The bundle sheath cells where the dark reactions will take place, that is deeply seated, that is away from the upper epidermis, which is receiving the sunlight. So amount of heat which reaches the bundle sheath cell is very, very low, is less, and as a result, photorespiration does not take place. So both the conditions has been taken care of. That means high oxygen concentration is not there, because non-cyclic photophosphorylation, which produces oxygen, is located near the upper epidermis. And when photolysis takes place, oxygen is released. It is released fine. So or directly that will just, that is produced there. There is no way that the concentration of oxygen increases in the bundle sheath cells. Okay, and the second is because bundle sheath cells are deeply seated, so what happens that the temperature there is low. So both the conditions are taken care of, whether it is high temperature or high O2 concentration, both are taken care of. So will photorespiration take place now here? Will photorespiration take place now in bundle sheath cells? Will it take place? Yes or no? What is your answer? Will the process of photorespiration take place here now? Yes, I want your response, children. Will it take place? Will it take place, beta? I'm not getting your response. Yes. Yes, answer my question. Yashika Bhardwaj is saying no, and she's correct. Deepika, it will not take place. Tadarani is saying no, he's also correct. Yes. Photorespiration will not take place. Why photorespiration will not take place? Because for photorespiration, high oxygen concentration is required and high temperature is required. And both the conditions are not there now. Because this is oxygen is formed in the near upper epidermis. So here it will not reach oxygen. So oxygen concentration will be low. And it is deep seated, so again the temperature will be low. When temperature is low, oxygen concentration is low, photorespiration will not take place. And why do the plants want to avoid photorespiration? Because photorespiration is a wasteful process. It doesn't produce any high energy compound, and also it releases CO2. That is why photorespiration is considered to be a wasteful process which the plants want to avoid. Now, any point in this which you could not understand? I'll repeat, yes. Or if you want me to repeat the whole thing again, I'll do a quick review. Yes. Yes, beta. I'll do a quick review if you want me to repeat the whole thing again. Yes. Yes, bache. Anything, any point, anything? Yes, I'm not getting response. Yes, beta. Clear. Tadarani is saying clear. Yashika, is it clear, or shall I repeat the whole thing again? Clear. Amrita is saying clear. Yashika, yes. Priya. Okay. So, yes. Yes. Okay. So that means now we have done C3 cycle. Now we are on C4 cycle. C4 cycle is shown by the plants. This is a special, which shows special adaptation to prevent photophosphorylation. Now that means these plants, example of these plants, I told you maize, sorghum, sugarcane, they have the C3 cycle and they have this particular arrangement in which bundle sheath cells are present. Okay, now how the C3 cycle takes place, this I am going to explain. The process of, not C3, C4 cycle. The process of C4 cycle. Now I start with the process of C4 cycle. So how this C4 cycle takes place? So C4 cycle, also known as Hatch and Slack pathway. Hatch and Slack pathway. Now what do we have here? This is the epidermis. This is the cuticle. This is the cuticle. Okay. This is the epidermis. Upper epidermis I'm drawing for you. This is upper epidermis, and above that it is cuticle. Now I'm going to show it by two. This I'm making mesophyll cell. This I'm making mesophyll cell, and down I'm making the bundle sheath cells. So two types of cells which I'm making here is the mesophyll cell and bundle sheath cells. What do we have here? Here we have cuticle. This is what we have, upper epidermis. This is how I made in the structure of leaf, which I just made few minutes before, in which I made here the epidermis, the mesophyll cell, and the bundle sheath cell. So here I'll write, this is mesophyll cell, and these are bundle sheath cells. This is what we had in the diagram. At the top, we had upper epidermis, then we had the mesophyll cells of the compact parenchyma, and then we had the bundle sheath cells, which were barrel-like cells enclosing the vascular bundle. Now here, CO2 from the atmosphere comes in. It comes in. Now inside, what do we have? Inside, we already have water. We already have water. The CO2 has come in. Now we already have water in the cells. This CO2 combines with water, and in the presence of an enzyme. The enzyme here used is carbonic anhydrase. In the presence of enzyme carbonic anhydrase, it is used here. I'm making the star here. In the presence of this enzyme, it forms H2CO3. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll make it here. Okay, it prepares H2CO3. This H2CO3, it undergoes dissociation. That means it breaks down, and after breaking, it forms H proton and HCO3. H2CO3, this reaction which takes place in the presence of carbonic anhydrase, dissociates to form H plus and HCO3. Now what happens? This HCO3 which is formed, I'll write this HCO3 now here, or let me write it this way only. This HCO3 which is formed, this is received by an acceptor. This is received by an acceptor, and the acceptor which receives it is PEP. So this is received by PEP. PEP receives it. So this is received by acceptor PEP. PEP is phosphoenol pyruvate. So this is received by PEP. Now together, this PEP along with HCO3 in the presence of enzyme PEPCO, PEPCO. This is an enzyme. Like this was an enzyme, carbonic anhydrase. This is also an enzyme. This PEP, when it accepts HCO3 in the presence of enzyme PEPCO, is again, PEP is phosphoenol pyruvate. This already you know, this is this phosphoenol pyruvate, and PEPCO. The full name is PEPCO. PEPCO. Phosphoenol pyruvate, CO is carboxylase. This, in the presence of this enzyme, forms OAA. OAA. What is this OAA? Anybody knows this name, full form of OAA? Yes, anybody knows the full form of OAA? Anybody who knows the full form of OAA? No. So OAA is oxaloacetic acid. It forms oxaloacetic acid. This oxaloacetic acid now forms, I'll bring it a little down. This oxaloacetic acid now forms malic acid. Malic acid. Here, two acids can be formed, either malic acid or aspartic acid. In place of malic acid, aspartic acid can also be formed. Aspartic acid can also be formed. The difference is just of one amino group. If this this malic acid, it takes one amino group, it becomes aspartic acid. Or oxaloacetic acid, if it takes one amino group, it becomes aspartic acid. One amino group, it becomes aspartic acid. But here I have written malic acid or aspartic acid. Anything can be formed, and both are amino acids. So no problem. You can write on aspartic acid also or malic acid also. And this oxaloacetic acid gets converted into malic acid. Now this malic acid enters the bundle sheath cells. So malic acid has entered the bundle sheath cell. This malic acid is a 4-carbon compound. This malic acid is a 4-carbon compound. This malic acid, which is produced here and enters the bundle sheath cell, is a 4-carbon compound. And because of this 4-carbon compound, malic acid, this is known as C4 cycle. This cycle is known as C4 cycle because of this 4-carbon compound which is produced in the mesophyll cell from oxaloacetic acid and enters the bundle sheath cell. Because of this 4-carbon compound, this cycle is known as C4 cycle. Now this malic acid gets dissociated to form two things. Pyruvic acid, I'll write here PA is pyruvic acid. And at the same time, it releases one CO2. Malic acid is a 4-carbon compound, and this pyruvic acid is a 3-carbon compound. 3-carbon compound. So 3-carbon compound is made, and 1 carbon is this which is released. Okay, so malic acid dissociates to form pyruvic acid as well as carbon dioxide. Now you see, carbon dioxide has been released here. This is very important. Carbon dioxide has been released in this bundle sheath cell. So when carbon dioxide is released, what about the oxygen concentration? It will be low or high? Carbon dioxide is released in bundle sheath cell. So what about the oxygen concentration? It will be low or high, beta? Yes, it will be low. That means it will promote photorespiration or prevent photorespiration. It will promote photorespiration or it will prevent photorespiration. Tell me. Yes. CO2 concentration is made high here because of the dissociation of malic acid. Malic acid dissociates to form a 3-carbon compound, which is pyruvic acid, and 1 carbon dioxide is released. So all 4 have been covered up here. Now out of because 1 CO2 is produced here all the time, that means carbon dioxide content is high here, but oxygen content is low. That means low oxygen content and high CO2 content will prevent photorespiration or it will promote photorespiration. What do you say? I want your response. It will promote It will promote what? Photorespiration. It will promote photorespiration. Tadar Ani, you're writing promote. But what will it promote? No, bache. That means the concept is not clear. See, photorespiration is a wasteful process. Photorespiration is a wasteful process. The plants do not want it. Why the plants do not want it? Because after photorespiration, CO2 is produced. First thing, it releases CO2. Photosynthesis releases oxygen. Photorespiration releases CO2, which is bad for the environment. At the same time, because of, yes, Amrita is correct. And at the same time, there are no ATP or NADPH produced, no high energy compounds produced. When nothing is produced, no energy compounds are produced, and at the same time CO2 is released into the atmosphere. What's the use of that process? That process will be considered as a wasteful process. So we consider photorespiration a wasteful process, as well as the plants do not like it. Okay, but in two conditions, the plants, they show photorespiration, they cannot avoid it.